G'day, I'm Eric and welcome to the next in the instructional video series from WaterUps. Today we'll be putting together the Oasis 1680 bed. This is the larger of our beds, perfect for the home garden. Now, before we start, we'll need a few things. A knife for opening the box, a Phillips head screwdriver or drill, and a little container to put your screws in so you don't lose them. Now, what's in the box? Box number one we'll have our reservoir liner, our rails, both side and end rails, with corners pre-fitted, our connector rails, our corner panels, our screws, and 6 panels. Some will become the side panels and some will become the end panels. Now with the 1680 bed, you'll be getting 2 boxes. In the second box, you'll have your inlet pipe, your overflow pipe, and 8 WaterUps wicking cells. Okay, now you've unpacked everything and you've taken the protective coating off, let's have a look at the pieces that we've got. We've got our rails, we've got our joiners, and now we need to put together the bottom rail system for our garden bed. So we want to take 2 rails with corners that are opposite, ensuring that the long side of the rail is facing in and that they both line up. Place that on the ground. Now this is the joiner piece. Once again, it's got a long side and a short side. What we need to do is we need to make sure that that lines up. Simply slide it on and move it up until our holes align. Now we're going to repeat for the other side. Now we've put our 2 side rails together, it's time to put the end pieces on. Now to do this, you want to do it all upside down so you can get the screws in. Now, what makes the end rails different is that they don't have the corners attached to them. The corners are only on the side rails. Once again, be mindful, we've got a long side and a short side. Long side, in. Now that you've put your rail system together, we're going to turn it the right way up. And we're going to start placing our panels in. First thing you want to do is get your corner panels. Now these come with protective coating as well. So we just want to make sure that we take all of that coating off before we start. Now there are two types of corner panels. You're going to get 3 pieces that have no drainage hole on them. And you're going to have 1 piece that does. The drainage hole goes on the long side, not on the short end. Now you can see that we've got the corner pieces in, with the shorter side on the end and the longer side down the side. Each corner panel is secured with 1 screw. We do this now, it will make sure that it stays there. Now the screws are in, it's all held together nicely. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to place our panels in. Now, as I said before, you're going to have 6 panels. You're going to have 2 on either side and 1 on either end. They're all the same, you can't get them mixed up. Now the panels don't come with a clear coating, so you can just go take them straight from the box and start to install them. They slip behind the corners, but in front of that longer side of the rail. And then all we need to do is just slightly open the front and it slips in beautifully. Now when we come to do our side panels, you will notice that there is a slight difference in one end of your colour bond piece. Has a slight kink in it. Let's put that kink in the middle. That'll just give it a little bit more rigidity and make the whole structure a little bit more stable until we move it into place. And you'll see that with that little extra notch in the ridge, that the next piece will fit into that very nicely. Last piece. Now it's time to put on the top rails. Unlike the bottom rail, we're going to fit this piece by piece. So we're going to take the end rail, making sure that the long side is in. And we're going to simply slip it down over the corner and the end panel. Next we're going to take one of our rails with a corner piece, making sure that we've got the long side on the inside, and we'll fit it to here. Now once they're on, they do slide around a little bit, so just make sure that you've lined your holes up, and we'll screw those down. Now, other side, same thing, make sure you've got a corner, long bit on the inside, short bit on the outside. Line up our holes. And now we'll do the other side. Okay, now making sure that the long pieces are on the inside and the shorts are on the out, we're going to fit our second last corner. Alright, it's starting to look like a garden bed, but there are two pieces that we still need to put on. And these are our last two connectors. Now just be sure, long side on the in, short side on the out. Now, everything is already all nicely lined up, but just make sure that one last thing we do, slide along so you can see the holes through. Last piece. Okay, now that you've put the connectors together, there's just one last thing to do, and that's to make sure that the whole top rail is secured down to the rest of the unit by putting in the last 4 screws. Now we're all done with the actual bed. See, go to pick it up, turn it around. Now, I'll put this together. We'll go through the rest of it. Try and find as even as possible. Now, reference the outlet hole there. We're going to take our liner We're going to open it up. Very easily fold it together and push the tabs through. Making sure our corners are nice and tight. Now I did that pretty quick, but if this is your first time doing it, I'll show you. Open it up flat, and we're going to fold our diagonal piece inwards and bring it up, and that will give us the square edge. What we need to do then is push the tab through the first two, and then bring up the third piece and feed it through. Now you notice we've got a pre-drilled hole in our liner as well. So we're going to make sure that they all line up. Now that our reservoir liner is in the base of our new garden bed and we're sure that the two holes have lined up, all we need to do is put in our cells. Now I've put all but two cells in. I've left the one cell that I want to have our inlet and a one cell that we want to have our overflow pipe on. As we've spoken about on other videos, you'll see the indented circle here with a sharp knife. We very carefully cut our way around. We've made our hole. We need to make sure we've got this hole so our water can get in. 3 tabs on the bottom of your inlet pipe, 3 slots on our cell. Line them up and click them in. Lovely. Now you can put this cell wherever you like. My recommendation is put it on the same side as the overflow, so when you are filling it, you'll know when to stop when you start to see the water come out. So I've chosen the top corner up here. And now our last pipe, our last cell, we're going to fit our overflow to. Now, imagine this sitting in the bed. And here's our hole, so we want to attach it to this corner facing in this direction with a simple clip. Okay, we're nearly there. We've fitted all the cells except the very last one. We've made sure that our overflow pipe is orientated correctly off the last cell to go through our pre-drilled hole in our reservoir liner and in our garden bed. We've taken all of the extra stuff off. We've got a rubber washer, we've got a spacer, and we've got our nut. And we're going to simply feed that through both holes so it comes out the other side. And our cells all fit in nicely next to each other. Now, first thing we want to do is we're going to put our spacer back in. Next thing, rubber washer. And the last thing is we're going to screw on our nut. Guys, that's the 1680 bed. Happy gardening.